Welcome to Seattle, where the most diverse zip code lives. This is my home. What you see here blinds you to the truth.
The older I get, the stronger I become. The most I've picked up is 278 pounds off of the floor. I grew up in Chinatown, and it was difficult to get a house out of the Central District because they didn't want to rent to blacks.
Banks would lend money to only certain areas and not to others. And like the central area, and I believe even Beacon Hill at that time, were redlined. If you wanted to buy a house there, you really couldn't because it was where blacks live or Asians live. Some covenants that were overt and some that were covert.
It's an interesting situation where Frank Iragon and I met. I said to him, why don't you just take the bullhorn since you're so loud? And so he took the bullhorn and would say, what do we want? And everybody else would say, Asians now. It was the first demonstration by Asian Americans in the history of the city of Seattle. If we were to go in on a joint basis, let's say with the Black Student Union, then they would have just said, they would have probably just given the blacks what they wanted, but not us.
Well, we have shared interests with other communities of color in terms of racism, in terms of being oppressed. But at the same time, we also have self-interest, and to me, that's paramount.
So we took over the administration building to make it a point, because it's time for us to struggle. And if we are successful in our struggle, our kids won't have to struggle.
You have to live in peace, to have that kind of undivided attention, to that yearning, that they don't have to yearn anymore. To eat in peace, without being told that you had to go to prison if the war breaks out again.
I thought, how could you tell anybody about internment? You wouldn't have the same feeling about it unless you were standing here on the ground where it happened. So I put a window in the floor so that you could have a window into the past. And it was full of trunks from people that were going to be interned. And when I bought the building, they're all still there.
It's different today. Our shared interests are healthy communities, good jobs accessible by green transit, safe homes, and nutritious food. This is the new movement.
People who make more money can have the luxury to spend money on that good organic food. So food justice is just being able to get that food that low-income families can't afford to them. If there's a way to improve the community, like especially my community since it's lower income, then I'll do it. Gardening can really improve a community by just bringing them together.
I heard about Cochrane at a meeting. I didn't know what global energy was. I didn't know what renewable energy was. In other words, we're being left behind. Movements being built without our community. I wanted to make sure that my kids were going to be able to be on the front end of a movement. And I fell in love with Cochrane, and I stuck around.
And that's one thing that people have to understand sometimes about a movement. A lot of it was based on friendship and love for one another than based on ideology. It's just that we believed in one another.
I think it's being able to be open-minded, connect to everybody, being open to who people are. Like, you may be Muslim, you may be Catholic, you may be bisexual, you may be straight, but still being able to bring everybody together, even though there's a whole bunch of differences between people. I think that's a leader.
People are understanding the diversity, the positiveness of the diversity. It makes us stronger as a country. It makes us stronger as a business.
Harvesting diversity is our new struggle. But will history remember us as yearning to be undivided, or undivided in our yearning to set a strong example for future generations? Back at it again. Coming through the